The identity of this trial's boss is a major story spoiler for Shadowbringers. As such, this is a spoiler warning. Do not watch this video if you haven't reached this part of the game yet. You've been warned. Hello and welcome to this updated video guide for completing the Crown of the Immaculate in Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. My name's Tiers, and in this video you'll learn everything you need to know to embrace this trial. VOR3 is a little easier than Titania, but people still die, so let's dive into it. As the tank, pull VOR3 and face him away from the group. As the off-tank, be a DPS for now. There's not a lot going on at the beginning of this fight, but healers can look out for Realm Razor being cast, as this is just group-wide damage. Before long, the boss will cast Heavenly Host, which summons 5 adds. As the off-tank, pick these up and group them for AoE, the adds aren't that special. Another cast you'll see is Daybreak. This puts an AoE circle under 4 players, but we know how to avoid these sort of moves by now. After this you'll get Sin Sphere, signified by 4 green meteor circles. Just make sure that each circle has at least 1 player in them before the meteor lands. However, pay attention because VOR3 will also use a gaze attack during this move, confusing any player who didn't turn their character away from the boss. Before you know it, VOR3 will summon adds again. They're a little bit more buffed, but the tactics remain the same. Group them up and AoE them down. The last part of this phase involves the boss questioning his life choices whilst repeatedly AoEing the group. Just keep wailing on him while the healers throw out a few group heals. This only lasts for a short time, so there's not much pressure. Once VOR3 has had enough, a forced mini cutscene will trigger. You can't skip this, so enjoy watching whatever the hell I've censored here. Cutscene over, you'll now have to deal with Innocence. Main tank pick him up, and the off tank can swap to DPS for the remainder of the fight. Main tanks and healers should look out for the tank buster Righteous Bolt, as this hits relatively hard. Healers should also watch out for Shadow Reaver, as this is quite high group damage. The first real move you'll see is Winged Reprobation. With the first cast of this move, 2 gold swords will slam into the floor on opposite sides of the room and cast triple line AoEs across the floor. They'll cast 3 triple line AoEs, so look for the safe spots and keep on your toes. The next time Winged Reprobation is cast, you'll instead see this S-shaped AoE marker on the floor with a gap towards either end. This S AoE will slowly rotate around the room in the direction of the bends. This will rotate a decent distance before fading, so either position yourself behind the bends or run through the gaps as they come around. Another move you'll see is Rightful Reprobation. Innocence will move to the middle of the room and cast 8 line AoEs in a star pattern. Move to one of the safe spots and if you can, try and remain there. You'll notice after this move executes, the golden swords will remain at the edges of the room. After a short amount of time, they will cast themselves back to the boss, repeating the same AoE pattern. The indicator for this is too short to react to, so if you weren't already in a safe spot, you'll probably take a hit. If you had to move due to some other mechanic, just try and run between 2 of the swords before they cast back. At about 50%, Innocence will jump to one side of the room and initiate his wipe mechanic, so listen up. Here, 4 adds will spawn around the room with 1 untargetable add in the middle. Also note the Immaculate Authority duty gauge display appearing. One of these 4 adds will have a blue tether to the center add. Kill this one first. When it dies, another add gets tethered, so kill that. Repeat until all 4 adds are dead. At this point the middle add becomes active and you can kill that too. The reason for this kill order is that the center add will start casting Holy Sword on the tethered add. If the tethered add is still alive when the cast finishes, the center add will absorb it. This deals very high group damage and applies slashing resistance down on everyone. Once the middle add is slain, Innocence will hit the party, dealing damage proportional to the Immaculate Authority charge. This can deal quite a lot of damage if people have too many slash resistance down debuffs. Feel free to use any sort of group mitigation for this move, however none of my attempts wiped on this encounter, so you'll probably be fine. After this, the fight continues as before, but there are a few more moves to watch out for. For God Ray, the boss will jump to the middle of the room and throw out 3 huge cone AoEs. He will do 3 sets of these and rotates them slightly each time, so keep an eye out. Light Pillar is a directional stack-up marker on a random player. Make sure you align yourself with the target to share the damage. Now then, the biggest cause of death is the reappearance of Winged Reprobation, because at this point in the fight you'll get both the Time Stream triple line AoEs and the rotating S at the same time. Unless you're quite experienced with this fight, I would fully recommend dropping DPS on the boss and focusing on avoiding the AoEs here, because this move requires quite a lot of mobility.
There's also this 4-player targeted AoE, but it's so rare that a lot of websites don't even list it, and I only noticed it when editing.
The last move you'll see is Beatific Vision. Innocents will jump to one end of the room and cast a proximity line AoE. The closer to this line you stand, the more damage you'll take, so just run away from it. By the end of the fight, you'll reach a 3-bar limit break, but I wouldn't pop this as melee until under the last 15%, just in case your healers need to LB3 and revive the whole party. And that's the crown of the Immaculate. If you've enjoyed the guide, then let me know, and if there are any other guides or perspectives you'd like to see, then check out my channel or feel free to ask me to create one. Thank you for watching, and good luck.